the preamble. Oh, I tried to make my own preamble. Sawa. Okay. The second motion today is advancing environmental sustainability within the East African community. The East escalating environmental challenges that demand our immediate attention. Recognizing that shared responsibility, 90% of our forest.
I'd like to take this opportunity to first congratulate you. I didn't have the opportunity yesterday. I'm Honorable Mak-kristo from Nebi, West Nile, Northern Uganda. This is a point that touches us all. It's an issue of hunger, an issue of sustainability, and an issue of livelihood. I will zero on agroecology basically as a remarkable solution to this. Moving through East Africa, I had a wonderful welcome into Tanzania with a green environment. I know the areas that are not like this. Moving through Rwanda, you find the green streets. Kenya, as I was entering Kenya, I had a notification that the 13th is declared a public holiday. They're planting 13 million trees. I was like, wow. I posted on my status, could I remain here or go back to Uganda and do the same? Down in Burundi, you find the arable land, good for farming, is kind of small, but people have adopted kitchen gardening and using the available space. I think that's where I got my motivation to join the space of doing agriculture. I always looked at agriculture, greening, as a burden, something out of a priority. But checking through the green gas emissions and the effects caused now climate change, they're so visible. Wherever we are, we don't need to be told. This motivated me, and I would use this as an advice or a probable pick-up solution for everyone. We should be careful about what we do, the motives. We are hearing of effects of climate change. We are hearing of climate-smart agriculture, which is not the real thing. I believe the real thing is climate-resilient agriculture. We should focus on agricultural systems that work for Africa. In Africa, we had sustainable seed systems, and successfully those seed banks have been killed with GMOs. We have tree species that you plant once, they grow within 1-2 years, you get the money, they're off. African systems had trees that naturally regenerated. We have fully adopted the tree species that come, you harvest it once and you have to replant again. In my country, Uganda, the president put a ban on charcoal previously, this year, because the cutting down of trees was so rampant. We have come up with clear ideas that we think work in line to this. Looking at smallholder farmers are the people who sustain the nations, but more focus is given to the large commercial farmers who usually do exports. Less priority is given to the smallholder farmers who feed the nation, who run the nation. No funding, or limited funding, with so much interests are given to these who are doing the real thing that work for Africa. We do recommend that more funding and attention given to those doing agroecology and basing on climate resilient approaches. In Uganda, I'm sorry I'm using a lot of Uganda, but that's where I have more of the data. University like Uganda Matters University, they have initiated agroecology into their curriculum. We could recommend this for all East African states so that they adopt agroecology into their systems, and we fully adopt and make it as part of us. We should focus on adopting workable, energy-saving cooking technologies. that I believe some of us have started adopting them, and they save. And we could use this platform to request easy access to carbon credit financing and how some people, especially the youth, can easily get into those systems. It pays back the person who's protecting the environment. In our small community, we came up with bylaws. Every event, we must plant trees. Just imagine, this is the 6th East African Youth Parliament. Can you put in a humble budget to plant trees? If we had started this by the 1st Parliament, by now, how many trees could have been planted in Tanzania by now? In our communities, when we have a cultural event, we plant trees. The king of the Alur people made it a law. You have a cultural event, you plant trees. We pushed for that by law in our communities. Can we make it everywhere? When you have every gathering, social kind of gathering, whether religious, political, whatever, put a budget of planting trees. If you can put a budget of miscellaneous, that disappears and no one knows where it goes. Can you put a budget of planting trees? As a summarize, food sovereignty is a threat due to us adopting systems we don't understand. Briefly about the GMOs that I don't want to focus on, that we have blindly adopted. A certain group of people, after their World War II, had excess of synthetic ammonia, nitrogen, that they had no use to. They incorporated this into our systems of farming by making synthetic pesticides and herbicides. We successfully absorbed this, but these people don't eat these foods that have been sprayed on, that you have used the synthetic herbicides and fertilizers. They want organic food. And they're encouraging us to buy their foods that we plant once, some grow, some don't grow. They're encouraging us to buy the fertilizers that some grow, some don't work out. And all these flash back into our water systems. We Africans adopted those systems, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and the effect is back into our water bodies that we drink. Every pesticide that is synthetic or fertilizer, you find a notice on it, harmful for human health. We put all the protective gear, we spray them. We apply the fertilizers, we apply the insecticides. After that, it goes back to the water, and we consume it. Previously, there was an issue in Uganda about mango zip. I'm not so sure about Kenya, but Kenya is doing more commercial farming than Uganda. I believe there is more mango zip.
Conclude, Honorable?
Yes, I'm concluding. More mango zip than that. It's a leading cause of cancer, but they call it an antifungal for our plants. Those in the European countries have refused it in their market, but they've given permit for people to come and bring it to Africa, especially in my country, Uganda, and we have fully hugged it. I recommend we say no to conventional, we adopt agroecology, and we make greening a personal initiative. In my small community, we have taken on an initiative of planting 1 million trees. This year, before coming here, I've already planted 12,500. We are doing this in schools, in communities. Even we gave politicians forceful and some kindly, they had to plant trees. We gave them a target of 1,000 trees as we celebrated the Youth Day celebrations in Uganda. So I call upon all Ugandans, all East Africans, this should be a collective responsibility beginning with you. I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that submission. I will welcome Honorable Alak to give his